Paraphrase. Quotes are great, but you don't want to use them too much. Readers want to hear you speaking, so your first option should always be to put your source's ideas in your own words, and that's called a paraphrase. So this is your first option, paraphrasing. It basically translates a short passage from a source's words into the writer's own words. It works better than quoting in many cases. It incorporates the information into the paper without a seam, so it is easier to read for a reader. Paraphrasing also ensures that you really understand the source material and how it works in your paper. And that's because sometimes I'll see papers where there's quotes put in, but they don't really make sense in the paper, and I could tell that the student really didn't understand the quote. That can't happen when you paraphrase because you just spent so much time understanding the quote through the process of putting it into your own words. Here's an example of a paraphrase. You can see there are no quotation marks. We still have a signal phrase, Rodriguez and Kuhn compare. We also have a parenthetical citation, which we'll go over in another video. Make sure you don't patch right. That's just when you just patch a few of your own words into the source's words. It's basically plagiarism. Let's look at a couple of examples. So in purple we see the original, and then under that you see a good paraphrase and a bad plagiarized paraphrase. I suggest you pause the video and check out the difference between the two here. I'm going to move on now. Here's how to paraphrase. Reread the original passage until you understand its meaning. Set the original aside and write your paraphrase down. So basically set the original, don't look at it, set it off to the side, and then write down the same thing they said, but in your own words. Jot down a few words below your paraphrase to remind you later how you might envision using it. Next to the paraphrase, write a keyword or phrase to indicate the subject of your paraphrase. Check your rendition with the original to make sure that your version accurately expresses all the essential information, but in a new way. Use quotation marks. Yes, use them if there is any unique term or phraseology you have borrowed exactly from the source. An example of a unique term or phraseology might be unique term or phraseology. If you were going to paraphrase my number 5, and you decided to use the words unique term and phraseology, that would need to go in quotation marks. So basically what I'm getting at is that sometimes we can kind of half paraphrase, half quote together. Record the source, including the page next to your paraphrase, so that you can easily credit it if you decide to use it. So now I'd like you to try some paraphrasing yourself. Good luck.